वेलकम टू वीलन में आपका स्वागत है। टुडे सब्जेक्ट चेंज मैनेजमेंट सेशन नंबर 5 एंड टॉपिक मॉडल्स ऑफ चेंज कि हाउ डू यू चेंज एंड व्हाट आर द मॉडल दे आर यूजफुल टू चेंज और इम्प्लीमेंट द चेंज मैनेजमेंट इनटू द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। एंड टॉपिक टू बी कवर्ड इन दिस सेशन recent approaches to organizational development and change, process based on change model of evolving managerial interpretations of change, then content based model. And now recent approaches to organizational development and change. Organizational development is an important mechanism that helps to impress organization and its employees. जब भी आप डेवलपमेंट करते हैं, डेवलपमेंट एक इंपॉर्टेंट मैकेनिज्म होता है जो चेंज मैनेजमेंट के लिए बहुत अच्छा होता है और ऑर्गेनाइजेशन और एम्प्लॉय दोनों को इंप्रेस भी करता है। इट इंक्लूड स्ट्रक्चरल एंड टेक्नोलॉजिकल चेंजेस एंड फोकसेस ऑन द वर्किंग एनवायरनमेंट अमंग द एम्प्लॉयज विद इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। इट इज ए मॉडर्न अप्रोच टू मैनेज चेंज फॉर द ह्यूमन रिसोर्स डेवलपमेंट and the recent approaches to organizational development and change are broadly divided into two categories. Number one, the top-down approach, the classical paradigm, and the bottom-up approach, the system paradigm. And now, top-down approaches. Organization consists of functional areas such as production, sales, accounting, etc. जैसा कि आप जानते हैं, हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अलग अलग फंक्शंस वाइज एरिया बटे हुए होते हैं। The top management will drive these areas through command and control. The assumptions here is that management should try hard to maintain change, like develop a vision, communicate the vision, maintain top management determination, plan and programs, adopt the best practices. And now the bottom-up approach. This approach deals with the organization as a system which easily gets affected by environmental changes. It is also known as the living system approach because the organization is considered to be a learning organization which has many feedback systems between its subsystems. The main features of this approach are as follows. Studying of organization in relation to the contextual environment for factors such as size, structure, technology and leadership pattern. Composing of many interdependent subsystems within the organization where change in one or more parts affect the entire system. Number third, persisting organizations comprises of individuals, groups, teams, structures, system and policies. Such system allow both individual learning, social interactions. Here the leader provides a clear vision and help in the change process by facilitating, identifying and directing the emerging pattern of behavior and thinking. The other features of this approach help us to understand the assumptions made in many organizations are always dynamic, flexible, self-organized and interdependent. Number two, fact about the leaders showing that they are democratic, that is release the potential for change and not autocratic who drive changes. Number third, need for both change and stability. Number five, importance of both current reality and future organization. Number next, uniqueness of each organization and respect the individually and its need for change. Subsystem interdependency within the organization and their influence on such other subsystem. According to system approach, organizations should simultaneously pursue both process and structural intervention strategy in order to bring about change. Process intervention strategy focus on changing people's behavior culture, attitudes, interpersonal and intergroup interaction, and also organizational communication styles and flow of information. These strategies help to bring in teamwork, cultural change, and system maintenance in the organization. Structural intervention strategy focus on and change the component of organizational system such as the organization and job design, reward system, performance management system, and accounting control system. Both process and structural intervention strategy should be simultaneously handled to guarantee effective team characteristics, functions, cultural interaction, and structural aspect of management system. Another way of analyzing change model is to consider the external or internal forces as influencing change. The adaptation model focuses on the role of external factors in bringing about change in the organization. Some of the examples include a new government policy, competitive environment. The proaction model says that explanation comes from within the organization as action and change by itself. Another explanation of organizational change lies in an emphasis of the structure, the process. According to structure model, successful change need to prepare the necessary structural details and introduce them systematically. Some of the examples are technology, design of the organization, and system. People will also change by this. And now, process-based change model. Process-based change model focus on the actual steps as how of organizational change process. All the models in this category deal with the sequence of steps that are used to bring about changes in an organization and intervention related to it. Some of the process-based models are Levin model of change, planning model, model of change management process, integrative model for planned change, Sheen model of change, action research model, and now Levin model of change. We have explained Levin model as this is one of the early models of planned change. It states that organizational change move from one static state through a progressional shift to another static state. In this model, change affect three levels: individual level, structure, and system level, and also organizational climate. This model consists of the following three steps to provide a basis for change at all the levels in the organization, which is given as here, like unfreeze, then refreeze, unfreeze, then transition or change, and third one is refreeze. Unfreeze means this step involves creating the right situation for the change to occur. By refusing change, people connect to a sense of identity to their environment. In this step, the alternatives to are beneficial will initially cause discomfort. The challenge here is to move people from this frozen state to unfrozen state and then changing or transition. This transition is considered as a journey at this level, and at the philosophical level it is considered a period of confusion. At this stage, people will aware that the old ways will be challenged, but there won't be a clear understanding of the new ways which will replace them. As roles change, a reduced state of efficiency is created where goals are significantly lowered. The final goal of this stage is to get people to the unfrozen state and keep them there. And third one is refreeze. The goal here is to achieve refreeze, re-establish stability and comfort level of people. It takes people from low productivity in the transitional stage to a productive stage. Then planning model. This model was initially proposed by Lapid, but later modified by Cobb and Frohman. This model process 7 steps for change. This plan states that there should be free sharing of information between the organization and change agent. This information must be further translated into action. This concept can be understood clearly by using this figure, like exploration, then entry, then diagnosis, then planning, then action, then stabilization and evaluation, and then last one is a termination. This model goes through series of steps. In this first step, organization and change agent together explore the need for and the area that require change. They enter into it. This will be followed by diagnosing of specific goal toward improvement. Changes cannot be made without handling resistance, so regions for assistance will be identified and work out, and then planning will be done for a specific improvement. This plan will be put into action, which is next step, and followed by evaluation and termination of the system, or to begin another. And now, model of the change management process. Gapin proposed this model and states that a successful organization change efforts should target two levels, in the strategic level and the grassroots level. Strategic level refers to upfront initial effort involving executives, senior managers, few employees and consultants who provide an outside views. Grassroots level drives changes deeply and stress on implementation at the local level. This model involves 9 steps. Number 1, establishing the need for change. Number 2, developing a vision of change. Number 3, diagnosing the current situation. Then generating change recommendations. Then detailing recommendations. Then testing of pilot. Then preparing recommendation for rollout. Then rolling out changes. And last one is measuring, reinforcing and refining changes. And now, integrated model for planned change. Bullock and Batten proposed this model to describe both temporal state and changes process involved in change. It is based on the principle that organizations exist in different states at different times. This model involved 4 steps like exploration phase, then planning phase, then action phase, and last one is integration phase. And now, Scene's model of change. Scene extended Leibniz basis model and included newer concept. This model has been explained as unfreezing. That means, according to Scene, unfreezing is a process for creating enthusiasm and reading for change. Then cognitive restriction or redefinition. It is a process by which an enthusiastic learners can learn something new and is related to his thoughts process, feeling, values and attitudes. Then defensive identification with a role model. When a learner is motivated to change, that person realizes that a concept may be interpreted in different ways than one's own. So on can adopt new perspective that facilitates change. A very good example for this is brainwashing. And now, action research model. This model is proposed by Cumming and Hughes. It is assumed that planned change is a cyclical process. This model process that organization need to undertake research initially to have adequate information that guided in their future action. This model involves 8 steps and they are as follows. Number 1, identifying the problems. Number 2, consulting an expert. Number 3, gathering data and diagnosing at preliminary level. Number 4, collecting feedback. Number 5, diagnosing the problem jointly. Number 6, planning of action jointly. Number 7, action. And number 8, gathering of data after action. Then model of evolving managerial interpretations of change. This model is proposed by Isabella and it focuses on cognitive sides of organizational life and highlights interpretive process associated with organizational phenomena. Isabella collected interview data from 40 managers about past events in the organization and explored how managers jointly viewed the event over time and how these viewpoints would affect the change process. This model undergoes a sequence of 4 distinct stages through which interpretations progress. They are anticipated or anticipation, confirmation, culmination, and aftermath. Each stage consists of frame of references, interpretive task, and construed reality. The process of transition starts with a trigger event, and personalization of the trigger moves an individual from one stage to another. The individual meanwhile tries to analyze his understanding of the event and his job. In the various stages, the model captures the collective constructions of the event by managers. It defines and describes frames of reference they share during specific changes. This model doesn't concentrate on detailing action that result out of interpretation. Also, it doesn't describe the interaction process through which individuals share knowledge. This model suggests that the fundamental stage of change, as said by Levin, that is unfreezing, transition, and refreezing, are accompanied by interpretive tasks of assembly, standardization, reconstruction, and evaluation. It also stresses that frames of reference are predominant devices of the organization, as they are the logic behind the cognition. When there is a change in frame of reference is replaced by a conventional frame of reference, it makes way for improved viewpoints that are used to evaluate frame of reference. Initially, when people anticipated an event, they pulled bits of information together into frame in progress. While preparing for the occurrence of change, they view the event from conventional viewpoint that allow them to know what and how it will change, which in turn reduces uncertainty. When the event arrives, the thrust of cognition starts to know more about the new situation. It will always be in comparison with the old and in the form of an amended frame of reference. Finally, rephrasing seems to get association with the broadening perspective and general learning about what the event meant, and the end results is an evaluative frame of references. So, unformed and tentative viewpoint become well constructed and well processed viewpoint for the collective interpretation of key event. When an individual tries to understand an event fully by moving through all the interpretive stages, they try to formulate the meaning for the event that has been highlighted by the stages. The question, what does an event mean, leads to determinations of going through series of interpretive stages. This is so because most of the substantial conventional viewpoint resulted out of previous interactive cycle that makes sense of the situation through all the four stages. The research also point out that collective constituent realities include both emotions and cognition, where personalizations of trigger event add an effective dimension. This model and research provide new perspective for resistance to change and implication for leadership action during event. It suggests that instead of looking at resistance to change as an obstacle, it must be seen as an inherent element of the cognitive transition that occurs during the change. And now content-based model. Content-based model focus on substance of changes in the organization. Some of the content-based model are dissipative equilibrium model of the organization, Berkey-Litvin model of organizational performance and change. And now explanation of dissipative. This model is proposed by Hunt, who viewed organization as rational action system which is characterized by system variables and effectiveness variables. According to this model, each organization is designed to achieve certain objective and success is measured in terms of effectiveness on certain parameters. The organization always tries to reach equilibrium, and these two variables are two sets of parameters that are involved in determining such equilibrium. Therefore, the changes process involves these two sets, system variables and effective variables. System variables, these include formal, informal structure of the organization, the technical and external pressure acting on the organization, and the individual variables. Formal structure is the arrangement of resources for the management of organizational member activities and their interpersonal relationship. Informal structure, the formal structures value, belief, attitude and constraint give rise to an organization. Informal structure which is loose and unstructured and define the relationship among the members. Member interact, make own decision, develop groups and attempt to compensate of the limitation in the formal structure. And our technical system, there is always a relationship between members' work and goal in the organization. External pressure, organizations are subject to pressure from outside as they are open system. These pressure will be in the form of communication between the members and non-members. Some of examples are complaint and customer service. And now individual variables, it covers the formal values, technical or physical influence, external demand and also its individual members' demand. An individual joins an organization to work and fulfill certain need. These needs define the individual variables and its strength is shown in the enthusiasm of individual while satisfying his need. And now effectiveness variables, these include variables of achievement, cooperation, destructive conflict and need satisfaction and dissatisfactions. Achievement, this can be understood at two levels of organization and individual level. At organizational level, achievement is seen with technical system and cooperation. At individual level, it is in need satisfaction that drives individual's level of motivation to goal fulfillment. Cooperation's achieving of goal needs shared system which in turn paves way of cooperation between members. Destruction conflict arises due to conflicting goal among the members. Various departments have their own goal and when brought together raise the conflict and hinders the organizational growth. And now need satisfaction. If the need are stronger, the enthusiasm will be higher toward role performance. The effort of individual expend role performance and result in need satisfaction. Need dissatisfaction, formal structural hierarchy makes its members to aware of disparities like salary structure, status, etc. And now, disruptive equilibrium model of the organization. Then system variables like formal structure, informal structure, technical system, external and individual variable. I have already explained all these things. And now effective variables, achievement, cooperation, destructive conflict, need satisfaction, need dissatisfaction. And then Burke-Litwin model. This model adopts open system approach. The external environment serves as an input dimension and the individual and organizational performance serves as the output dimension. This model assumes that a company is an organic entity and is made up of many individual components. The various components of the models are described next, like external environment. The variables outside of the organization influence the performance like political and economical condition, government regulation, market condition, customer behavior and satisfaction and changing technology. Then second is mission and strategy. Mission is organization's primary goal and strategy is how to accomplish the mission. Leadership, this role includes responsibility of persuasion, influence, serving followers and acting as a role model. Then culture, it refers to the way things are done in an organization. It implies to be rules that one follows both explicit and implicitly. And now do it yourself. Question number 1. Explain content based models. And question number 2. Explain action research model. That's it from session number 5. Thank you.